A very long time ago, there was once this podcast, right? And it was called the Joe Rogan Podcast, right? And it was cool, it was fun, it was quirky, and they had a lot of good guests, right? As of lately, this podcast has devolved into a tool of foreign subvergence, right? But it used to be really good. And as of lately, they had on a good guest from a podcast we now know as the Telepathy Tapes, right? I've peripherally saw this podcast a while ago, and what they do is they follow non-vocal children with autism, and they are able to document the telepathy they portray, and a lot of it is between the child and the parent, right? And it's dope. Like, some of the episodes are super dope, right? Now, some of these children, they know languages, right? Like, off the rip, they know a language. And this brings me back to a time where, when I was a kid, right, when I learned how to talk, and my mother had to remind me of this, but I would tell them, like, look, back then, I couldn't talk to you guys, but I knew what you were saying to me, right? I knew what you were saying, but I just couldn't talk back. Like, I understood everything, right? And they were like, wow, how do you... So I guess there's something there, right? But now these children, they're displaying these irregular feats of telepathy, right? Amazing feats, down to like a decimal point. And it brings me back to a time where I understood telepathy as being something that was dependent on empathy, right? If you want to know what someone is thinking, you have to empathize with them. Now, it's just not putting yourself in their shoes, but there's a process. And one can exercise their empathy to the point where their empathy develops into telepathy, right? Now, these children with their parents, they're perpetually empathetic because due to their condition, they haven't had the opportunity to express dominance over anything, right? So throughout their lives, they develop this unique empathy with their parents, and it's a highly conductive flow of information, right? And it's cool to watch, right? So check it out, right? And it brings me back to the last episode on my podcast where things got crazy, right? And I came to the conclusion that humans can fly. I came to the conclusion that humans can fly. And it sounds crazy. It's ridiculous, right? And I can't do it. But I understood it to be a possibility, right? The same way people could walk on their hands or juggle or walk a tightrope or, backflip over a car. I understood that people have the capacity to fly, right? Sounds crazy. Now, the only reason I'm able to tell you something like this is because I developed myself to a point of strength where I'm able to just come and tell you what I feel, right? Without any fear of being reprimanded. And I wish all of you guys the same feat of strength. But nonetheless, I've come to that episode. It was episode 27, the last episode I did, that people could fly. And they're saying through these feats of telepathy that the children are demonstrating that this telepathy is just a tip of the iceberg, right? And the same way that telepathy they portray is the tip of the iceberg, I guarantee you, my observation that people could fly is also the tip of the iceberg. We're too bogged down in our materialism. We're too bogged down in our technology, and we're too bogged down in our inhumanity. And because we lack the tools to exercise this observance, right? We're stuck in this focus of existence, right? But I guarantee you, like, you know, if we shed a lot of layers, man, we could get to the point where we can also understand that the same telepathy these children, these nonverbal children, are displaying, that each and every one of us can also do the same too. And that's my message for today. Peace and much love.